Hello again there folks, Haircut here. Last time we finished the investigation. Now it's time to go through the red doors and begin the long class trial.
Ahem, so is everyone ready to... What?
What?
Am I blind or are we missing someone?
Yo.
Yeah, Toko's not here.
And Toko is...
You really don't remember?
Kidding, I'm just kidding. How could I forget that little nut job? She's a crucial part of the class trial this time.
What are you gonna do?
Okie dokie, I'll grab her out here kicking and screaming. Just wait a moment, please.
One moment, please. And just like he said a few minutes later, he reappeared, dragging Toko behind him. Angry Toko noises. I told you I don't want to, but he forced me. I can't believe that you would drag a girl around. Toko, do you count as even a person? According to you, I'm sure the answer is no. Terrible, you're terrible!
Whew, now everyone's here, right? Okay then, hustle onto the elevator and let's get this show on the road. I'll see you down there, guys.
Let's go.
So, shall we get going? It's time for us to find out who killed Chihiro. Chihiro Fujisaki. That is what her name is. She was so gentle, so calm and meek. Nobody had any problems with her. Someone had made the choice to kill a girl like that. Now that I think about it, actually, before we get too far into the class trial... I turned down the background music because it was too loud in the previous trial. And that murderer is one of us. Someone standing right here. Indeed. Hagakure, you ready? We're doing this. Sakura.
Well then.
I will uncover the villain who performed such heinous acts on a weaker individual. Taka. I don't know why the killer did what they did, but I'm sure it'll work out. Justice always prevails, right, bro? Hey, Kyoko.
Shall we go?
Okay. She said shall it begin, but whatever.
How very sad.
Miss Fujisaki, I must admit being 3D, she was quite remarkable. Of course, the idea of 3D makes me cringe.
You're cringe.
Hey, come on.
Friggin' Toko, man. What's got her so worked up? I don't know, it's Toko. Angry Toko noises. There's something odd about Toko's behavior. I do not think mere shock is enough to explain it. Perhaps. Soft serve.
I guess I wasn't much help on this one.
Are you ever? I give you plenty to work with. Show us how far your logic can take you. Elevator. We have no choice, right? We have to do this.
True.
Yes. I gave a small nod in reply. With one last deep breath, I walked toward the elevator with shaky legs. With each step forward, I could feel my heart starting to race faster and faster. As soon as everyone got on, the elevator began to descend. That is what elevators tend to do. I couldn't get a handle on my emotions. I couldn't stop speculating. Good for you. The steel box sank with heavy clanking sounds deeper and deeper into the ground. As we went deeper, the uneasiness in my heart grew bigger and bigger. Did your heart grow three times its size that day? The elevator was unaffected, however, and continued to descend deep without hesitation. That's because elevators don't have anxiety. Until finally, it came to a sudden stop. It quit its job.
What do you think? I redecorated. Isn't it so fresh? Isn't it so exciting?
Don't waste our time with stupid questions. Let's get this over with.
Very nice.
Good, you're ripping, raring. Go. I gotta say, I don't hate it. Not at all.
Well,
Okay then, let's get this show on the road.
chills, kills!
Everyone, please find your assigned seats.
Assigned podiums, because there's no chairs. And so the curtain opened once again, saying deadly several times, a deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial, a deadly. Save? Sure. I don't think we got any new skills. I think we only got SP points, which doesn't help when you don't have skills to use. Let's go over the, truth bullets, I guess, shall we? Monokuma file number 2. The victim was Chihiro Fujisaki. The time of death is estimated to be around 2 a.m. The body was discovered in the girls' locker room on the second floor of the school. The cause of death was a blow to the head with a blunt object. She was killed instantly. Sakura's account. Although Chihiro wanted to get stronger, she declined several invitations from Sakura and Aoi, and may have used the locker room late at night to avoid them. Despite this, Chihiro had stated that she desired help with her efforts. She may have been meeting someone in the locker room the night she had been murdered. Locker room dumbbell. The dumbbell was found on the floor in the girls' locker room, had a significant amount of blood on it. Mondo's account. Chihiro had told anyone willing to listen that she wanted to get stronger. Some assume that due to her inferiority complex about being weak, she admired strength more than anything else. Card reader. To unlock a locker room, you had to swipe your e-handbook over the card reader. You need a male student's handbook to unlock the boys' locker room and a female student's for the girls. It is not possible for 2 people to enter at the same time. Additionally, lending someone your handbook is in violation of the school regulations. Main Hall e-handbook. The handbooks of each student that has died is placed in the mailbox in the main hall. Broken e-handbook. One of the handbooks found in the main hall has been broken, which is apparently a rare occurrence. Junko and Sayaka's handbooks seem to still work, so it is assumed that the broken handbook is Leon's. However, Monokuma claims it is very unlikely that Leon's handbook would have broken. Genocide Jack's case files. Suspected Genocide Jack victims including Ken Harada, Tatsuhiro Honda, and Shojigaku, among countless others. What is the point of naming any of the suspects that have nothing to do with the story? They were killed in the same way and mounted to a nearby wall. The word bloodlust was found at each scene of the crime written in blood. Profiling indicates the killer is likely a student suffering from a split personality. Aoi's account. Chihiro seems to have consciously kept her distance from the other girls at the school, even from the beginning. Meanwhile, it had been noticed that she got along remarkably well with her male classmates. Wow. Boys' locker room, carpet. The carpet in the boys' locker room was found with a blackish stain on it. Yay. 2 locker room posters. Blood was found on the poster in the girls' locker room. The poster featured a big-breasted supermodel popular with young men. Meanwhile, the poster in the boys' locker room was for a boy band popular with teenage girls. Chihiro's e-handbook. Chihiro's handbook was not found with her corpse and has apparently gone missing. Status of the dead body. Chihiro's body has been suspended and her hands have been bound with some kind of rope. Her fatal injury was a blow to the head. Disappearing stain. Sakura mentioned that she was responsible for the coffee stain in the girls' locker room. However, the stain had since been inexplicably scrubbed away. Library desk lamp. Byakuya was known to use this desk lamp often. However, the extension cord had gone missing at some point, and the lamp's cord couldn't quite reach the outlet. We already know where that cord is. Frickin' Makoto pointed out that the rope holding up Chihiro has a plug. Celeste's account. On the night of the murder, right before nighttime, Chihiro was spotted leaving the warehouse. It seems that she was stuffing some blue exercise clothes into a duffel bag. Presumably, she was on her way to exercise, but the clothes were not found at the scene of the crime. Celeste had not told anyone other than Makoto about this encounter. And that's it. Let's, get going, I guess. Trial all rise!
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results.
Do we have to?
If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
Woo!
Okay then. So, first off, let's talk about the murder weapon!
Wow! First, we have to make it clear what was used to deliver the fatal blow. It was the dumbbell, we already know that. Locker room dumbbell!
Chihiro's fatal injury. It appears it was a head wound.
It was indeed.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
It's probably that
I
one.
bet it was an iron pipe.
You're dumb.
Interesting.
Interesting.
That certainly would make for a powerful weapon.
Poor Chihiro.
Okay, that was all useless. The weapon had to be at the scene of the crime. There was something with a bloodstain on it. There sure was.
Chihiro's fatal injury.
How did I
It
go
appears
fast
it was a
again?
head wound.
I don't remember. I thought I hit the control key.
According to the
Nope.
Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt... What kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
No, it was the other one. Proof that contradicts what I said? Okay, well, it's what Sakura said then, okay?
Chihiro's fatal injury. It appears it was a head
Sure what? What? What?
Chihiro's fatal.
It appears it
According to the Monokuma file, what kind of blunt?
Oh, right.
Interesting.
I don't know how to read today. God, I am bad at life.
Chihiro.
Yeah.
Chihiro's fate.
It appears it was.
According to the Monokuma file, what kind of blunt?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
No.
No, that's wrong.
I guess I forget how to class trial.
Can we agree that the object that dealt the fatal blow was the dumbbell found at the scene of the crime?
Are you gonna be like, how do you know that?
It was covered in blood, and there was nothing else at the scene that could have caused that kind of injury.
And the wound on the victim's head is consistent with the shape of the dumbbell.
Gnarly.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no mistake and no room for doubt on this one.
You looked at her head wound?
Why is that so shocking to you, Asahina?
Yes! That's so creepy!
It's a murder investigation, y'all. Jeez. Dots.
If you don't mind, I will proceed from here. Let's move on to discussion of the culprit. Although, I believe the criminal behind this heinous act is already quite clear.
What? For real?
Chihiro's killer is the fiendish serial killer, Genocide Jack.
Bum bum bum. Genocide Jack, the fiendish serial killer. Did he really kill Chihiro? A new element has been added to non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more? Sure. For this debate, lines of white noise will appear to disrupt your reactions. Your truth bullets will disappear if they hit those lines, so think of them as obstacles in your debate. But there's a way to keep the white noise from getting in your way. Press the right mouse button to attach a silencer, which you can shoot down the white noise. However, if you shoot an actual remark with your silencer instead of the white noise, the time limit will decrease. So take careful aim when you have your silencer out. Dots. Oh, but if your action difficulty is set to gentle, white noise won't appear at all. In which case, you can forget the silencer and just focus on the situation in front of you. Well then, good luck and have fun. Make your argument. Genocide Jack case file.
The culprit is Genocide Jack.
Seriously?
I'm sure of it. Case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
But that's impossible!
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on! There's just no proof for it.
I think that's what we're supposed to hit.
So, speaking of Genocide Jack, I don't know who that is!
Good job, Hifumi. The thing Byakuya showed me in the archive, one look at that and anyone would be convinced. It shows that this is the work of Genocide Jack. Does it?
The culprit is Genocide Jack. Case closed.
That's impossible.
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean,
Come on.
there's just no proof
False.
for it.
No, that's wrong.
Forgive me for screwing up at the first question, but I
might know one reason he could be involved.
should be doing better now that I am no longer... Now that I remember how the hell class trials work.
What?
I found this file while I was looking around the archive in the library.
Byakuya shoved this file into my hands and said, "Read this, nerd."
I guess it's some kind of confidential file the police put together about the Genocide Jack case.
What? That's kind of weird as shit, isn't it? What was something like that doing in the library?
Actually, he shoved it into my hands and had to read it to me because Mr. Byakuya-sama, I can't read.
The why of it is probably more trouble than it's worth. So let's forget about that for now. More importantly, it outlines all the specifics of every Genocide Jack case in exceeding detail.
Woo!
According to the file, there appear to be two defining characteristics in every Genocide Jack case. The first is that a bloody message is found written at the scene of every murder.
Oh, that's right. Boob lust.
No, Hifumi. That's just you.
No. It's actually bloodlust.
Please be serious about this for once, Hifumi. God.
More important is the other characteristic, and it's something that has never been made public.
Never made public? What the hell is it?
Why don't you tell them, Makoto?
The other characteristic of every Genocide Jack case, which the world at large doesn't know. If I'm not mistaken, it has to do with the positioning of the body. How the victim was positioned.
Apparently, in every Genocide Jack case, the killer suspends the body in a certain way. Other than the killer, the only people who know about this are the higher-ups in the police department.
However, Chihiro was most definitely suspended in the same way. So, how did the culprit know about this when only high-level police officials were aware of it?
Suspicious.
There's only one logical answer I can think of. It's because the culprit in this case is the real Genocide Jack.
Dun dun dun.
No fucking way!
You're saying Genocide Jack is one of us?
Yes, in fact, it's Toko.
What?
Genocide Jack's true identity is Toko Fukawa.
What?
Gasp.
Hey, okay, wait, hold on a sec. Toko has, like, bloodophobia or whatever, remember? What kind of serial killer is afraid of blood?
Bloodophobia.
Is Toko Genocide Jack? The answer is yes and no.
Another riddle. Man, why is this gotta be so complicated?
It's because your brain is made of a bloomin' onion, Hagakure. It's a riddle for sure, but I feel like I understand it, which means for Genocide Jack to be Toko, it also has to not be Toko. The answer is that she's just one person, but she's not just one person, but multiple people, right? Is this Hangman's Gambit? Sure is. Except they used the wrong word for this. Brrr. Schizo. Incorrect.
Now I understand. Is it because Genocide Jack has a split personality?
I'm pretty sure schizophrenia and DID are not the same thing.
Huh?
I think I read that somewhere in the file too. They thought that the suspect might have, what did they call it? Dissociative identity disorder.
Oh, okay. But still, to go and say that about Miss Fukawa is...
Perfectly acceptable.
Is it?
Toko's strange behavior after seeing the body is proof enough that she has a split personality.
Yeah, I remember her mentioning, like, "Yee, the stutter's gone." One thing that shows Toko has a split personality has to do with her behavior. Her behavior changed. She fainted!
I got it!
No, that's expected.
You're talking about how she started acting totally different than usual, right?
That's right. Think back. She fainted when she saw Chihiro's corpse, and then, when she woke up...
She was weird.
I'm fine. What was that, a dead body? Hey, are you dead?
Giggling. She must have hit her head real hard when she fainted.
The world has a front and a back, a top inning and a bottom, a sea of truth and a web of lies. This is quite concerning. I mean, she sounds completely different.
She was acting funny, that's for sure. That melancholy tone of hers completely disappeared.
Don't go assigning adjectives to my tone without permission.
Too bad.
Not to mention, once she regained consciousness and saw Chihiro's body again, she was utterly calm. In other words, within her is one personality that can handle blood, and one that obviously can't.
I would not call the reaction that Toko had calm.
So when Toko trapped herself in her room, it's because she was scared of Genocide Jack?
This scene again. I won't let Genocide Jack have control! I'll drive out the killer, drive out the murderous fiend!
The reason she locked herself in her room wasn't to keep other people from getting in. It was to keep her other personality from getting out.
Dun dun dun.
What?
Toko was afraid. Afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her. Of killing even more people.
How? Yeah. How can you know all this?
I do believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this? No. What she wants to know is, how could you tell them?
Huh?
Bum, bum, bum.
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange conversation. She told me a most interesting story. She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time. And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right, Toko?
Oh no.
This is all a lie. Right, Toko?
But why would he lie about stuff like that?
You said you wouldn't tell anyone.
And you believed him?
What? You promised. I can't believe you lied.
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't ask you to.
Yeah, why did you believe that he wouldn't tell anybody? Of course he would tell people if he was entertained enough by it.
This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy fairy tale.
But she wants it to be a romantic fantasy fairy tale.
Besides, you broke your promise first. You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone. But in spite of that promise...
There's a dead Chihiro. Nope, this scene again. I'm sorry. I couldn't keep our promise. But don't worry. Never again. I won't let Genocide Jack have control ever again.
You said if I kept my promise, you would go out with me. That's the only reason I promised.
How many times do I have to tell you? I never said that.
Yeah, probably not.
But you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing, could you?
I tried. I swear I tried to control it.
But your efforts were useless. What a disappointment.
Bum bum bum.
I hate you.
No, you don't.
Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question directly.
The person?
Yes.
You don't mean...
Toko's body suddenly lunged backwards. A huge thud echoed across the courtroom. But in the next second, here's one of my favorite characters.
Well, hello there. Is it me you were hoping to see? What the heck? So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do? I'm the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better yet, let's go with Genocide Jill!
Sure, whatever.
What the fuck is this?
Toko, what happened to you?
Good question.
Not Toko, that's a loser name, and what happened is a textbook split personality. So what if one of them happens to be a serial killer? You should turn a blind eye to one's fault.
I cannot do her cackle to save my life.
So intense.
I mean, both forms of Toko are intense.
Like they say, sound and murder is mind, sound and murder is body.
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
Yes, well, the world is composed of a front and a back, you know.
What does that even mean?
Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie. Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun!
Sure. This is the murderous fiend Genocide Jack? This is beyond insane.
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Some of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you, I am the mastermind of all masterminds! Just kidding!
Then it's not true?
Of course it's not true! How dare you try to link me to that creepazoid?
Creepazoid is an interesting word to use.
And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless! I mean, they just let this idiotic, bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town!
Fair.
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people.
No.
It's a necessary evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself causes pain for everyone. Just kidding again!
Okay then. Dots.
This should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro's death. There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
A motive?
Remember what Monokuma told us? If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed.
Yep, and here was Toko's secret.
Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was about Genocide Jack. If a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined. So she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself exposed.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
Huh?
Gasp.
But I cannot imagine anyone other than you could murder someone in such a bizarre fashion.
Maybe so, but nevertheless, it's the truth.
Do you really expect any of us to believe you?
Yeah. I could never believe a word you say, you monster!
Dots. Maybe she's totally right about that, but something's still bothering me. What she said, I need to get more details about all of this. There is reason to believe that Genocide Jack is telling the truth.
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone!
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking!
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely. What more proof do we need?
Cackle.
Give it up. You killed her.
That is false. Okay, I just have to focus remembering Chihiro's body. That must be the answer. That should prove what he said isn't quite right.
Sorry,
Yeah, it's
but
the
I
modus
didn't kill
operandi
you say
thing.
that. But perhaps if you had an... Oh, an alibi!
When you compare your past murders to this instance, the modus operandi matches.
False. That is incorrect. And let me tell you why.
Are the methods of murder really exactly the same? I'm not so sure about that. I think there's a slight difference between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
I mean, there are a few quite glaring differences.
Huh? How's it any different?
I mean, explaining it to you would literally be useless.
Uh-oh, you don't know? Well then, human garbage, let me tell you!
It's a good name for him. Bloomin' garbage in the trash.
I murder with passion and conviction. I consider myself a professional, and I have a very particular way of doing things.
As serial killers often do.
Imagine you go to a fancy Italian restaurant. They're very picky about the noodles, the sauce, everything. But what happened to Chihiro? It'd be like if that same Italian restaurant started using ragu or Chef Boyardee.
I wonder what she actually says in Japanese, because obviously ragu and Chef Boyardee are not brands in Japan.
This is no creation of mine.
Let me rephrase that in a way that maybe makes more sense.
Yeah, for the idiots that we have.
There are two clear differences between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
There's one clear difference between the murders. In the photos from the Genocide Jack case, look at the necks and stomach. You'll see a clear difference. The victim's fatal injury.
For one, the cause of death is different.
Yeah, they were all stabbed.
In the Genocide Jack murders, all the victims were killed the same way. According to the case file, they were all apparently killed with a pair of scissors.
And stabbed.
But Chihiro died from a blow to the head, right?
Ah, yes. That is remarkably different from the other murders.
Correct.
Wouldn't it be strange for someone who kills the same way without fail to suddenly change their method? And there's more. One more conflicting detail.
Yeah, that's not how serial killers work. They do kind of just kill people the exact same way all the time.
That's right. In my recipe of murder, if the bloody message is the tortellini, then the arrangement of the body would be the pesto sauce.
Okay.
Could you please stop comparing killing people to cooking?
No.
Are you saying the other difference has to do with how the body was arranged?
Correct. That's right, the second difference is related to how she was suspended. In the photos of the other Genocide Jack cases, all the other victims were stabbed through their hands, well, their wrists. You'll see a clear difference. What was used to suspend her?
Do you remember what the killer used to suspend her? They used some kind of rope to hang her up by her wrists.
What is your point?
There's a big difference in that.
Well, in all the previous Genocide Jack cases, something else was used to suspend them.
Oh, I guess they wouldn't have seen the case file, so they don't know about that.
Specifically, pairs of razor-sharp scissors.
And guess what? I used my own specially designed scissors for the murders and the arrangement. Like I said, I'm a professional, so naturally I'm very picky about the tools I use. And you know what else?
What?
Big Mac said there's two differences, but he's wrong.
Big Mac? Are you referring to me?
Tasty.
Listen up, Big Mac. There's actually one more difference.
Actually, I don't really like Big Macs. I don't like the sauce on them.
Huh?
My word, you really didn't notice? Take a look at who the victims were in each Genocide Jack case. There's a pattern there, just waiting to be discovered.
Also, a very important one.
Pattern?
Figure that out, and it'll be plain as death why I couldn't have possibly killed that little lolly girl.
Let's see. There was a pattern surrounding the Genocide Jack victims, and Chihiro didn't fit in it? If you look at the names of each victim, what you'll notice is, I figured it out. I know why she couldn't have killed Chihiro, because Chihiro was a girl. Chihiro was her lover.
Because Chihiro was a girl?
Bingo! Bullseye! Right on the money!
Yep, Genocide Jack only kills dudes.
What are you talking about?
In all the Genocide Jack cases, all the victims had something in common.
Ken Harada, 32, Tetsuhiro Honda, 17, Shoji Gaku, 23, Kano Issei, 14, Takeshi Yoshida, 30, Komatsu Nataro, Takefumi Gono, Uchida Naohia. Naohia is an interesting word. Takeshi Masamune, Yuto Yumejima. There was no end to it.
They were all guys?
In fact.
That's right! The people I kill with such passion and conviction are all adorable little men!
Adorable little men!
I can't
wrong with you?
I can't help it! I'm just a full-throttle boy-on-boy fangirl, and the mopey side of me just hates it.
Genocide Jack is a Fujoshi.
But now I'm on the fast track to becoming a full-fledged fan madam!
So since Chihiro was a girl and not an adorable little man, you wouldn't kill her?
Exactly.
Would an Italian chef suddenly start making ramen just because they're both noodles? Don't be stupid. I have too much passion and conviction to cross that line. That's the absolute reality of the one and only.
Yep. We get it. You've clearly explained your hobby and your philosophy. But that's not all there is to it. It's a different matter entirely, when you're forced to kill in order to survive.
Eh.
Quiet, lowly cur!
Oh, wow.
Lowly cur?
How do you like it, Byakuya?
I would never kill for a reason as petty as mere survival. And if by some fluke I did kill to survive, why would I bother with the message and arrangement? It'd make me the obvious suspect.
Yeah, if you kill out of survival, you kind of don't point a giant arrow at yourself.
That does make some amount of sense.
Plus, whatever reason I have for killing, I would never leave out my prized scissors. Who would go out of their way to use a big, stupid, heavy dumbbell?
Maybe you used the dumbbell because you couldn't find any scissors in the school?
Crime of passions, use whatever happens to be nearby.
Any scissors? I don't just use any scissors. I only use my own set of high-class envy of the entire world scissors!
Okay, whatever. There still aren't any in the school.
How do you know that?
Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that? Oh no, she has scissors.
She's fully equipped.
Of course she is.
That's right! So I can kill anywhere, anytime. Why would I resort to dumbbells or rope when I have my trusty scissors by my side?
Smooch, smooch the scissors.
Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong. You can't, can you? Gutter dogs, all of you.
Gutter dogs.
Not to mention, I have no clue how to tie a good knot. So rope's totally out of the question anyway.
What are you mad about, Taka?
I have no idea what's going on anymore. Could such a heinous villain really be innocent?
Unfortunately.
But the body really was suspended, right? And nobody but the police knew about that.
Yeah. That's why we figured it had to be the real deal and not some copycat killer or whatever.
Actually, hold on. There is one person. One person who could have copied Genocide Jack cases. Yeah, we know who that is. He kind of dragged us around all over the place and forced the idea of Genocide Jack to begin with. Byakuya.
Byakuya, it's possible you could have found out, isn't it? You'd have no problem gaining access to classified government documents or internal police records.
So you bragged about yourself.
Plus, you'd already looked through the Genocide Jack file before this all happened, hadn't you?
Dots.
Are you saying Mr. Togami did it?
Perhaps. Dots.
Then the reason he pushed the theory of Genocide Jack being the killer so hard was because he wanted to pin the crime on her.
She would seem more guilty than anybody else.
So, he rearranged the scene to disguise it and make it look like I put my stamp on it. The adorable glasses man was behind it all. Oh, I'm on fire!
Well, Byakuya,
I'm on
what's your
fire!
response?
I see. So now the suspicion falls on me.
Of course it does.
Then I must ask, when would you say I began acting suspicious? Surely you must have an answer.
Looking back and thinking about it now, the way you were acting right before we discovered the body was a little strange.
Yeah, you kind of pulled us along and was just like, here, come look at the things I wish to show you. And the locker rooms, they're suspicious, very suspicious indeed. Wouldn't you agree? Huh? Suspicious? It seems nobody searched the locker rooms. Let's start with the girls' locker room.
You wanted to go to the girls' locker room right away, right? But since you're a guy...
I should have naturally thought of the boys' locker room first. Is that what you want to say?
I mean, the first suspicion in general was, why were you just like, the locker rooms are suspicious. Why those places out of the entire school, my dude?
The victim was Chihiro, a girl. Hence why I said we should check the girls' locker room.
Ah, but how would you have known it was Chihiro?
Nothing strange about that, I'd say.
Only if you're stupid, you thumbtack.
On the contrary, there's something very strange.
Okay then, what's so strange about it?
Oh, Togami.
Go ahead, share with the rest of the class.
There was a clear contradiction in what Byakuya just said. I need to make it clear to everyone. A new element has been added to non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more? Why do you keep adding things? We are going to do something called a truth flashback. Oh, this thing. If you aim at a weak spot and hold down the left mouse button, dots, then you'll memorize that weak point. This memorized phrase can only be shot once at a single truth bullet. If you cheat or change the truth bullet, it will disappear from your truth cylinder. However, you can use this flashback feature as many times as you want. If you don't seem to have the answer to a lie or contradiction in your loaded truth bullets, it might be wise to memorize a different weak point and then use it to make your case. When's the best time to use a flashback? Well, you'll just have to use your keen wits, won't you? In this case, though, I will say that if you don't use the flashback, you won't be refuting anything. Well then, good luck and have fun. Woo! New elements all the time! Monokuma file number 2.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body.
Mm-hmm.
But he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it!
Shut up,
That's
Hifumi.
a natural reaction for any guy.
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first.
But how'd
there was
you
no
know?
time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about that?
I wish you'd taken me with you.
Shut up, Hifumi. God. Hearing Byakuya's comment about Chihiro being a girl, I realized it's a clear contradiction there. Because it doesn't make sense how he would have known before we'd even found it. Okay, I need to make that contradiction clear.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind
Whoops.
of weird before we found the body.
There we go.
But he was acting weird...
If you're presented with the opportunity,
That's a natural.
The victim was
How'd you know that?
No, that's wrong.
How'd you know that? How'd you know that, Byakuya? How'd you know that?
I'll tell you what's so strange about that. Because up until we actually discovered the body, we couldn't have known who the victim was. So your claim that you went to the girls' locker room first because Chihiro was the victim doesn't hold up.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I see. That's a good answer, I must admit. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. But your reasoning is still too weak.
Excuse me? How?
What's wrong? Is that it? Surely you've got more than that. Go ahead. Show us.
What's with Byakuya's attitude? It's like he doesn't even care. I got him cornered, but he's acting like it has nothing to do with him. Like Byakuya would show an ounce of weakness.
What's the matter? You're not finished already, are you? There must be more to it.
There is. I think.
There is more to it. Think about it. We just talked about the differences between this case and past Genocide Jack incidents. The proof you're looking for is hidden in there.
Oh? Proof that I'm the culprit, you mean?
Dots. The differences between this case and other Genocide Jack murders. The evidence that proves Byakuya was responsible hidden in there? Yes. What could it be? We already know! Library desk lamp!
What? The difference between the cases? You want me to explain it again? When I want to kill, I use my very own special scissors. And I use those same scissors to arrange the body.
That is correct.
But Chihiro was suspended with... It was some kind of rope. Was it not?
It was not.
It absolutely was.
It was not.
then there must be something very fishy indeed about that rope.
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get it from, huh?
I'd never seen that rope before in my life.
Garbage!
Obviously, somebody else must have had it hidden away somewhere.
Liar! Proof that Byakuya did it is hidden within the rope? I guess it's possible, but first, the item she had been bound with was used like rope? But was it actually a rope? No, it wasn't. Byakuya didn't use rope. He used a very specific object. He sure did.
But Chihiro, it was some kind of...
That's right. Then there must be something...
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get it from, huh?
I'd never seen that rope before.
Lies!
No, that's wrong.
Lawyer!
Actually, I'm pretty sure you have seen it before. Because, you see, that rope, or should I say, that extension cord?
Bum ba ba, now we know why it has a plug!
What? An extension cord?
Yes.
Byakuya, you've used the extension cord in the library more than once, haven't you? And the same extension cord that was in the library all this time went missing after the murder. And there's no way someone who uses that extension cord as much as you do wouldn't discover that fact.
How even long is that thing? Because that image made it look really short.
And Byakuya must be the one who took the extension cord. I can't imagine any other possibility.
Dots?
That's really what you think? Then your conclusion is something like this? I killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, then hung her up and wrote that bloody message. I intentionally made it look like Genocide Jack was behind it. Is that about right?
Dots? He's doing it again. He's totally calm, totally unconcerned. Actually, he seems kind of annoyed. As if he's not even involved. Wait, not even involved?
What's wrong? I asked you if you think that's what happened.
Hell yes, that's what happened. So that's it, right? Byakuya's the killer.
I don't disagree with not disagreeing.
Okay.
He kept calling this a game, right? So he'd be totally willing to do something like this to win.
Ah, but you were assuming Byakuya is the type to get his hands dirty. Dots?
Sorry, but could we hold on just a second? I think we need to talk about this a little more.
Huh? Do we really need to? We've already decided who did it.
No, we haven't, Hagakure.
I know, but still, there's something that's still bothering me.
Is that right? And what, pray tell, is still bothering you? I killed her in the girls' locker room, then disguised my crime. Specifically, I dressed it up to make it look like it was the work of a homicidal psychopath. What about all that bothers you?
What is your beef? Wait. What was that just now? Something's not right. Chihiro's body was definitely found in the girls' locker room, but does that mean... Can I really accept what Byakuya said is the truth? No, I don't think so. There's something definitely off about what he said. The scene of the crime!
You say you killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, right? But are you sure about that? Isn't it possible that the murder took place somewhere else?
How disappointing.
Why are you mad?
What kind of question is that? Even in the world of disappointments, this is a true letdown. She was found dead in the girls' locker room. There is absolutely no question about that. How could the scene of the crime have been anywhere else?
Well, I think it's entirely possible that she was killed somewhere else, then carried there later, along with the rest of the murder scene.
Indeed.
Rest of the murder scene?
Haha! I caught you off guard.
That was awfully specific. Please tell me you have a reason for saying all of that.
I do.
I believe I do.
Hey Byakuya, did I just take you off guard? When the story suddenly moved to the crime scene, Byakuya, who had been so confident until now. Maybe Byakuya never even realized that the actual scene of the crime could have been somewhere else.
Don't just move on without permission! What do you mean she was killed somewhere else?
Calm down,
Come on,
Lord Eyebrows.
Kodo. If there's any chance the murder took place somewhere else, let's see the proof.
Yeah. The evidence that shows the murder took place somewhere else. There has to be something that was switched between the boys' and girls' locker room. I assume let us talk about the posters? Because there's two things.
I got it! The proof that she was killed somewhere else is the poster that's hanging in each locker room.
Your proof is some posters?
Why do you sound so annoyed? Like, ugh, garbage!
The poster in the girls' locker room was a picture of a big-boobed supermodel. But don't you think that's kind of strange? Why would the girls' locker room have a poster like that?
I bet those massive jugs of hers were totally fake!
Nobody asked.
Meanwhile, the boys' locker room had a poster of the super popular boy band Tornado. Again, that doesn't really seem to belong in a boys' locker room.
So you're saying that maybe the posters were switched?
Indeed.
And there's one other thing I noticed about the locker rooms. You know what I'm talking about, right, Sakura?
You're referring to my protein coffee, aren't you?
Correct.
Protein coffee?
While I was in the girls' locker room earlier, I spilled some protein coffee on the carpet. But I noticed that after the murder, the stain had been totally scrubbed away.
No, that's not... It's not that the stain was scrubbed away. It was moved. It sure was. Carpet!
I got it! The stain on the girls' locker room carpet wasn't scrubbed away. In fact, I found it on the boys' locker room carpet.
That's definitely the stain from my protein coffee.
Dun dun dun!
Then, does that mean that the carpets were switched too? But why would anyone do that?
That is the current mystery.
To move the murder scene from one locker room to the other. It's certainly plausible, don't you think? What?
But why?
In other words, in order to completely swap the scene of the crime, the blood-stained poster and carpet were moved along with the dead body. By doing this, the killer was able to change the entire room where the murder took place.
I can certainly follow your reasoning, but why would the culprit bother doing that?
Huh?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Why would they go through all that trouble of switching the scene of the crime? Actually, an even bigger question. If the murder did take place in the boys' locker room, then how did Chihiro get in the boys' locker room in the first place?
More questions!
To get into the locker rooms, you have to swipe your e-handbook across the card reader device. But Chihiro's handbook should have only allowed her access to the girls' locker room. She had no way to get into the boys' locker room to begin with.
No, she did have a way, and I can tell you what it was.
Yeah?
I highly doubt that.
Shut up! I'm telling you, I know how she could have done it.
What is it, Hagakure? Is he right? Could Chihiro really have gotten into the boys' locker room somehow? Let's hear what Hagakure has to say. It's probably going to be disappointing. Broken e-handbook.
Is it really possible? Could Chihiro really have gotten into the boys' locker room somehow?
Ah! I've got it! She must have hacked her e-handbook!
No.
She was the ultimate programmer, after all. I'm sure that would have been no problem for her.
No, I don't think that's it. She used the thing that was in the main hall.
Huh? What thing?
I'm talking about Leon's handbook, of course. If she had that, she could get into the boys' locker room no problem.
Theoretically, if Chihiro had been able to use Leon's handbook, she could get into the boys' locker room. But when we found Leon's handbook in the main hall, there's no doubt it was... In which case, can we really say that she used it? No, we can't, because it was freaking bricked.
She must have hacked. She was the ultimate. I'm sure that would have...
No, I don't think that's it. She used the thing that was in the main hall.
Huh? What thing?
I'm talking about Leon's...
Wrong.
No, that's wrong.
Gonna ruin your little thought.
No, I don't think Chihiro used Leon's handbook.
Why not?
Because Leon's handbook was broken.
Is dead.
Oh. Well, then, yeah, I guess that'd be pretty impossible, huh?
I am struck silent by how quickly you gave up.
Plus, Isn't there a regulation against using someone else's handbook?
No.
Actually, the rule states that loaning your handbook is prohibited. It says nothing about borrowing one. In other words, you could borrow a dead person's handbook all you want, and you'd be safe.
Yup. Hit the nail square on the noggin.
Yep.
Of course, if it were broken, that wouldn't make any sense anyway.
So then, she must have hacked hers, like I said. She used her ultimate programmer skills and...
Psst! You can't fix an e-handbook. The instant you open one up, a security buzzer starts blaring.
Well then.
So, if she didn't use Leon's handbook, and she didn't modify her own handbook...
Maybe Mr. Naegi's initial assumption is just wrong?
Is it now?
It seems like there's no way she could have got into the boys' locker room. So I guess so.
Okay then, I vote for Byakuya.
Calm down. Dots. Is that it then? Chihiro was killed in the girls' locker room and Byakuya's the one who did it? Really? Byakuya's not the type to get his hands dirty. But still, I don't know what else I can do.
Hold on a second. I agree with you, though. I think you're on the right track.
Kyoko, to the rescue!
You finally decide to open your mouth and that's what you've got to say? There's no way she could get in the boys' locker room, right? So...
Why are you so sure she couldn't get in? There's still one other way she could have gained access.
Yep.
What? What are you talking about? What other way is there?
Well, to explain that, why don't we take a little break from the trial? I'd like you all to come see something.
Here comes something... controversial? Question mark. I'll talk about it at the end.
Wait. Just what do you think you're doing?
Don't worry. This'll make the whole trial more exciting. I'm sure that thought must please you.
Also, right now the trial is stalled, and that would bore Monokuma.
Huh? It'll make things more exciting? Well, all right then. I declare an official class trial recess.
For real?
Now then, what is it you want to show us? It better not be boring or I'll be very unhappy.
Nah, it'll make you happy, Monokuma.
Oh, I have no doubt it'll meet your lofty expectations. So, shall we go?
Onward. So before I knew what was happening, the class trial had been put on hold. We headed off with Kyoko in the lead, and where she took us was... back to the scene of the crime.
The girls' locker room?
You've already searched this place top to bottom. What are you trying to pull, Missy?
I'd like you to examine the victim's body one more time.
Oh, dogs. You want to check it again?
Be sure to examine the entire body very carefully. Take your time.
Examine her carefully? Like using our hands?
No way!
It's probably best if I don't run my hands all over a girl's dead body.
Yeah, touching dead body's icky, and then, like, it feels disrespectful even more when it's, like, the opposite sex, I guess.
It's not that I'm creeped out or anything, it's just... based on religious grounds, you know?
You could just say, dude, that you're creeped out.
Very well. I'll do it.
But you're a girl. You shouldn't have to touch a dead body. Just let one of the boys do it.
Asahina, shut up.
No, it's okay. I think Chihiro would rather have a girl examine her. So just leave this to me.
Everyone else is being a little wuss anyway.
Sakura. What is this? Some kind of secret girl-on-girl action? Is that what you two are about?
Shut up, Jack.
That's not it at all. Stop screwing around.
Stop screwing around.
Okay, here I go. I'm sorry, Chihiro. Please excuse the intrusion.
Putting her hands together in brief prayer, Sakura then began to quietly examine her
Be
body.
sure to check her entire body, and I believe we will solve this particular mystery.
Her entire body? I know you say that, but... what? This is... what is this...
Screaming.
What is it?
Not possible. It's not possible.
But it is. Sakura's eyes were staring wildly at Chihiro's lifeless form. Her massive frame trembled.
This girl is
what?
is a boy.
Dun dun dun.
Ah, I see. So she was actually a he. Interesting. Thank you for confirming this fact.
Ah, cue Hifumi scream.
What? You're joking, right?
I wouldn't joke about this.
Yeah, why would there be a point? Also, Sakura's not the type to make those kind of jokes.
Then it's really true?
Gasp.
Chihiro was a guy?
Chihiro was male, yes.
Oh, what? You guys didn't know? Heck, I knew that right off the bat.
Yeah, of course you did.
Chihiro Fujisaki was totally a guy.
He was a cross-dresser? Oh, I'm really on fire! I wish I had killed him!
Oh, but you didn't. Wah wah.
So that's what Kyoko wanted to show everyone, huh? Interesting.
Dots.
Yes, that certainly does make things much more exciting. Now let's ride this wave of excitement back to the courtroom and get back to the trial.
Yep, now the trial can keep on going. It's no longer stalled out.
Ahem. I do apologize for keeping you waiting. Now then, let's resume the class trial. We've all just learned of the shocking revelation that Chihiro was actually a boy. Let's pick up from there.
Yep.
Yes, well, I don't know his reason for hiding it, but the fact is, Chihiro was not a girl, but a boy.
To think Chihiro was actually a guy. Male, at least, yes. The thought had never crossed my mind.
Because the victim was male, he would have had no problem gaining access to the boys' locker room.
Assuming his handbook did, in fact, list his gender as male, then yes, that would be true.
Of course his handbook said he was a boy. He dressed like a girl, but he was a boy through and through.
Are you sure about that?
So then, there should be no issue with Makoto's initial assertion. The victim was killed in the boys' locker room, and was then later moved to the girls' locker room. And the killer could have easily used Sayaka or Junko's handbook to get into the girls' locker room.
So Chihiro really was killed in the boys' locker room?
Wouldn't it make sense on how the mysterious things got switched?
I still don't understand the motive for moving the body, but yes, that does seem plausible.
Well, I must admit, I did find it rather odd. I knew he felt a little off. There was a certain incongruity to his female body.
Shut the hell up. Byakuya, you don't even know what you're talking about.
This is the most titillating situation!
So now everything has been connected. All the mysteries have finally become clear.
Except for the one who killed Chihiro.
Okay, well, connected or clear or whatever. We still think you're the killer, remember?
No, I don't think we do anymore.
Very interesting. This has become very interesting indeed.
He's off in his own little world.
As he often is.
What about you, Makoto? After everything we've learned, do you still think Byakuya's the killer?
Well, without a doubt, Byakuya is the one that made Chihiro's death look like Genocide Jack did it.
That is correct.
But I
Dots.
think he might not actually be the killer after all.
Shut up, phone.
What? But aren't you the one who accused him in the first place?
Wow! It's like getting new facts can change the entire trajectory of the case, Hifumi.
He just seems to be too easygoing about all this. Like he's enjoying us solving the mystery.
Also like me continuously saying that Byakuya is not the type to get his own hands dirty.
The way he's acting, it makes it seem like it doesn't have anything to do with him.
And you think that might be because it doesn't have anything to do with him?
Plus, the evidence he left behind was a little too... how can I put it? Overt. He
Too on the
consciously
nose.
chose to use the extension cord, knowing it could connect him to the murder. At least, that's how I see it.
Dots.
And Byakuya, when you found out the murder took place in the boys' locker room, it seemed to rattle you. And then again when you found out Chihiro was actually a guy.
Yep, if you had done it, then you would not have been surprised by any of that.
If you really were the killer, that stuff wouldn't have had any effect on you.
So that's your thinking, huh? Well, it bothers me that you don't have more concrete reasons, but...
Bruh, all we got is theories. Shut up.
It's fine. I guess I'll mark it as correct, for the time being.
Oh, Byakuya.
Mark it as correct?
He's right. I am not the culprit.
Dun dun dun.
I just happened to come across the corpse in the girls' locker room and decided to alter it.
He decided to play with a dead body.
Are you fucking with us right now?
No, I am not effing with you right now. I'm telling you the truth.
Well, I find it very hard to believe.
Why?
Go ahead. Find it very hard to believe. You're free to be executed along with the rest of us.
If you're really telling the truth, then why? Why do you do that to his body?
For fun?
My reasons hardly matter right now. Uncovering the culprit is much more important, wouldn't you say? Now then, if it wasn't me, who was it?
Well, I don't think I can say for sure without talking about it a little more.
We're seriously gonna keep going? We're all good, aren't we? I thought it was clear Byakuya did it.
Get the crap out of your ears, Hagakure.
No, I'm with Makoto. If there's any doubt whatsoever, we need to explore every possibility. Because if we're wrong, we all die here.
That's true. Very well then. I'm with you too.
Damn straight. Count me in.
No one really wants your help, Hagakure.
Do you not have a mind of your own?
No, he doesn't. The only thing in his brain is a bloomin' onion.
Of course I do. What am I, an ant or something?
Yes.
Anyway, let's discuss this all as a group one more time. We still have time to make our decision.
That's very true.
Our lives are all on the line.
Yes.
Excellent. Then shall we resume our game of hide and seek?
But if Byakuya didn't do it, then who's the real killer? Who murdered Chihiro? That is the new question. There's one thing we can be sure of that we know about the killer. The killer was able to gain access to the real murder scene, which means the killer is a guy. Since the crime scene was in the boys' locker room, you would need a boys' handbook to get in. Since Leon's handbook is apparently broken, the killer would have had to use their own. In other words, he had to have been a guy. But that's still not enough. I need to find some more clues. I say this in jest, but clearly it was Bloomin' Onion. Celeste's account.
Isn't there a single clue that might lead us to who did it?
Well, clues are one thing, but did nobody get a look at the killer?
I'm sure if someone saw the killer, they would have said something by now.
Bro, it was 2 in the morning.
Perhaps someone saw the victim at some point. Even that might be enough for now.
Yeah. All we need right now is any kind of new info.
It's over. It's all over.
Game over,
You
man.
wanna know who saw the victim? The killer. And only the killer.
Nope.
And it's not like they're just gonna turn themselves in. Game over, man. Game over.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yay! No! Not game over!
Calm down, Hifumi. No, as a matter of fact, there is an eyewitness account regarding Chihiro. She has more information about that.
Isn't there a single clue? Well,
Did nobody get...
I'm sure if someone saw the...
Perhaps someone saw the victim at some... Yeah. All we need right now is any kind of new info.
It's over. It's all over.
Come
You
on,
wanna
man.
know who saw the victim? The killer.
Incorrect.
No, that's wrong. I believe someone else did see the victim before he was murdered. What do you think, Celeste?
Now that you mention it, yes, I did see him.
Thanks, Celeste.
Really?
Oh, but I suppose only Makoto knows about this. The rest of you had no idea, did you? That is why you're all making such ugly noises.
Okay.
Whatever! Just hurry up and tell us!
It was last night, right before nighttime. I saw Chihiro in the dormitory warehouse.
You sure did.
I saw him stuffing a track jacket into a duffel bag, and then, I assume, he headed off to exercise.
A track jacket and a duffel bag? But we didn't find anything like that at the murder scene.
It seems likely that the culprit destroyed them to get rid of any evidence.
And that is when he said something that struck me as rather odd.
Yeah?
Well, I'd better get going. I'm in kind of a hurry.
Chihiro told me he was in a hurry. But why would he be in a hurry? Only if someone were waiting for him, I should think.
So, Mr. Fujisaki was on his way to meet with someone, and then they were going to work out together?
Probably.
But Hina and I had invited him to exercise with us plenty of times, and he always declined.
Yeah, but if he had gone with you, their secret would have been revealed a lot sooner.
Probably because he was afraid you'd find out the secret he was hiding, right?
Oh wow, Hagakure said something smart for once.
Which means that conversely, he must have trusted whoever he was meeting with very much, enough so that he was willing to risk his secret being revealed.
Oh, what a marvelous friendship!
The wow!
Whoever he met up with is the culprit, right? So we just gotta figure out who it was.
But knowing what we know, I can't even guess.
No. You already have what you need to make the connection.
We do. It's a very minor detail.
Huh?
You know who the killer is.
Seriously?
Who is it? Who's the killer?
Think back to the track jacket and duffel bag the killer disposed of. Focus on the details of these items, and it should become obvious who was waiting for him.
Are you sure about that? You really think we can figure out who did it based on two pieces of evidence that we don't have?
What? You want to track down some fingerprints or something?
Even if we had the equipment for that, we wouldn't know how to use it.
Probably not.
As was noted, the evidence is already gone. There's nothing to get fingerprints from.
Maybe, but we can make certain inferences if we just take the time to talk it out.
Easy for you to say,
Is it because that your brain is full of pool water, Asahina?
but fine. Celeste, did you notice anything special about the bag or jacket?
The bag was just a normal duffel bag from the warehouse. All the bags in there are the same, so I can't imagine what would make that one special.
Well, if I remember right, there was a decent variety of tracksuits to choose from. Do you think there might be some connection between the culprit and Chihiro's jacket?
Perhaps. Let's explore that and talk a bit more about the jacket he took.
Does Chihiro's track jacket really hold some clue about the killer? Somehow, it's really hard to believe. Oh, but it's such a minor detail, it's easy to overlook. Celeste's account.
First of all, we know where Chihiro was headed. He was on his way to go exercise.
That is correct.
So next we have to ask, why did he choose the specific tracksuit that he did?
What do you mean, the specific tracksuit?
I got it! He picked that tracksuit because it matched the one the culprit was wearing.
So, what you're saying is, the killer was wearing the same blue tracksuit as him? My tracksuit is black.
Really now?
I don't even have a tracksuit.
Of course you don't.
Because exercising sucks.
That's
I
fair.
have a white tracksuit personally.
Nobody asked you, Hagakure.
I got it from the warehouse, if you must know.
Did any of that really help us get any closer to figuring out who the culprit is?
Oh, but it did.
No way. Not a chance.
You heard him, right? What he just said without even realizing it?
I did, Kyoko. She's right. What he said just now is really odd. How did he know something like that?
First of all,
We know where Chihiro was on his way, so next week, why did he choose?
What do you mean,
I got it! It matched the one.
So,
The killer was wearing the same blue track.
No, that's wrong.
This trial makes me sad.
Hold on a second, Mondo. What did you just say?
Huh? What'd I say?
When Celeste testified a few minutes ago, she said...
I saw him stuffing a track jacket into a duffel bag, and then I assume he headed off to exercise. She never said what color it was.
She never said anything about the jacket's color. So why did you say Chihiro's blue tracksuit?
What are you? You just...
Hey, Celeste. What color was Chihiro's tracksuit?
As a matter of fact, it was blue.
And before we began the trial, did you tell anyone that?
The only one I told about any of this was you.
Then, Mondo, how did you know what color Chihiro's tracksuit was?
Because I just...
I'm sure he saw the clothes at some point in the investigation.
When?
No, that can't be it. The bag and clothes were surely disposed of by the time we began our investigation.
Yep, we never found him.
Then the only reason he could have known what color the tracksuit was is if he saw Cherry with it before he died. That's the only possibility.
Cherry?
Are you talking about Chihiro?
Yes, that is what you can infer.
So, how about it? Did you see the tracksuit or didn't you?
Just by chance. I just happened to see it last night.
When?
He walked past me, and he was carrying the tracksuit in his hands.
No.
No, that can't be it either. According to Celeste's testimony,
She stuffed the jacket into her bag in a hurry. It was almost like she was trying to hide it. And just like that, she was gone.
when Celeste noticed it, Chihiro made a point of making sure the jacket was completely in the bag. If you just ran into him briefly, you couldn't possibly have seen what color the tracksuit was.
The outcome of this trial genuinely makes me sad.
It would appear you've dug your own grave.
Perhaps. But you handed him the shovel, didn't you? That's why you said what you did. Focus on the tracksuit and it'll be obvious who he met with? What a bunch of nonsense.
It was a gamble.
Ah, now I understand. It was all one big bluff, wasn't it?
Just hoping on a slip of the tongue.
Your true intention was to draw a slip of the tongue from the culprit. That's why you said you knew who did it, to put them on edge.
That's right. However, Mondo was my target all along. I had my suspicions about him from the very beginning.
And her reasons is such a minor detail it'd be easy to overlook.
But why? What made you so suspicious?
This is, like, beyond the track jacket.
That's a good question.
The way he talked. Dots.
There was a certain turning point that tipped me off. Maybe you didn't notice it, Mondo, but you tend to refer to men and women differently. You only call guys dude. For girls, it's chick. And after he was killed, you happened to refer to him as dude.
Mm-hmm.
Once I picked up on that, it occurred to me that Mondo knew something we didn't.
You noticed such a tiny detail?
Are you a witch? She's a witch! You're positively frightful!
She is frightful.
No, I'm not the frightful one. Not nearly as frightful as someone capable of murdering a friend.
Mondo, was it really you? Did you really kill Chihiro?
Is it time for you to have a meltdown?
I didn't kill anyone! You've been all over me, judging everything I say, putting words in my mouth. What gives you the right to treat me like a goddamn criminal?
Yeah! He would never do something like that! This is a false accusation!
Calm down, Lord Eyebrows.
It's true. My reasoning on that is pretty shaky.
That was fast.
I mean, she's not gonna lie and say like, oh no, I'm 100% confident.
Well, this does present us with a problem. It seems we are all out of leads.
My time has nearly come.
Okay.
That's what my little ghost friend is telling me.
Shut up, Hifumi.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Hifumi, weren't you telling me you'd found some evidence?
Really? What kind of evidence?
Dots.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it here calmly, it might not be all that relevant.
Jeez, does your confidence just get up and walk away? It's fine, man. Just tell us.
If you really insist, then, here it is.
What do you have there?
Handbook!
It happens to be an e-handbook. I found it laying on the ground, so I scooped it up.
found it on the ground, right? Then it must have belonged to Chihiro.
I got it!
We couldn't find hers.
We know Chihiro's handbook was missing from the scene of the crime, right?
For a fact.
For a fact indeed.
Indeed.
I was totally sure I'd found it.
Are you?
Then it must hold some clue about the culprit, right?
Well, that's what I was hoping. But it's busted. It won't even turn on.
Another dead one.
I imagine the culprit broke it to get rid of any evidence after the murder.
That's odd. I didn't think the handbooks were quite so fragile.
Yep, because that's 2 broken ones.
You're right. They're not. They're totally waterproof and shock resistant. It would take an awful lot to break one.
And yet, this one does appear to be broken, as is Leon's, sitting useless in the main hall. For all your confidence, that is a remarkably high failure rate.
Do you think there might be some kind of mystery in there somewhere? How precisely did the handbooks get broken?
That's the next question. How did the handbook break? There's only one possible explanation. By hitting its weak point.
I got it! You already told us before that the handbook has one weak point, didn't you?
Yeah! You remember that?
Unfortunately for you!
Sure, maybe I let that slip, but I never told anyone what the weak point actually was.
So that means whoever killed the handbook found out. My brain died halfway through that.
If the handbook is supposed to never break, and 2 of them broke in quick succession, then
we can only assume that someone's figured out its weakness.
Yep.
You know what the weakness is, right, Monokuma? So, what is it?
You're asking me?
I mean, you would know for sure.
I think it's a necessary piece of information if you want this to be a fair trial.
But if I tell you, and someone else decides to copy it, that would be very not good.
Just tell us already. Why would we want to break our own handbooks?
Oh well, I have a weakness for pushy demands. But you're sure you won't follow their example?
Why would somebody break their own things? I don't know, because teenagers are weird.
Then allow me to make a special announcement. The weak point of my cutting-edge e-handbook is... when it's exposed to high temperatures for too long, it will suffer a meltdown and totally break!
Yep.
I flippin' knew it!
You knew it?
Yeah, because I found the handbook laying on the floor of the sauna.
Dun dun dun.
The temperature in the sauna can reach over 200 degrees. Strange how you don't get burnt, huh?
Oh, here comes a little factoid.
It's because as your sweat evaporates, it creates a cooling layer of air around your skin. If the hot air of the sauna were somehow pushed directly onto your skin, you'd definitely get fried. That layer of air would get blown away. That's why you may feel a burning when you move around. So when you're in a sauna, make sure to keep nice and still.
Thank you for the random spout on how saunas work.
Interesting. I learned one new fact today.
Woo!
That is a mere trifling speck of knowledge.
But useless information is fun to know.
Anyway, if you found the victim's handbook in the sauna, then the killer must have been purposely trying to raise its temperature in order to break it.
Yep.
meaning the culprit somehow knew its weakness.
But how'd they find out? Monokuma said he didn't tell anyone, right?
Indeed. Quite the mystery.
What if they found out by accident?
Yep.
What do you mean by accident?
You know, by not meaning to break it.
What if the killer took their own handbook into the sauna, not knowing its weakness, and it broke? They'd realize it was broken, of course, and it wouldn't be hard to figure out why. And once they had Chihiro's handbook, they knew they had an easy way to dispose of it.
I won't say it's not possible, but who would have done something like that? I don't know of anyone who took their handbook into the sauna.
Not knowingly.
I might know someone who did.
Whoa! Seriously?
I think the one who may have taken their handbook into the sauna was...
Taka knows. Who might have brought their handbook into the sauna? It had to be the one who wore all the clothes into the sauna. It was... Where are you, my dude?
Here's my answer. Mondo, your handbook got broken in the sauna, didn't it?
What?
Why? Why do you keep accusing him?
Oh, it's only gonna get worse.
Mondo and Taka had an endurance contest in the sauna not too long ago, remember?
Yep, that's why they became
Before the
bros.
contest, Mondo just so happened to keep his school uniform on. But little did he realize, he'd also left his handbook in one of his uniform pockets. And when it was all over, Mondo discovered that taking your handbook into the sauna could easily destroy it.
Yep.
No, wait, hold on. You've got it all wrong. He would never kill.
Not intentionally.
I don't accept this. Show me the proof. The actual solid proof.
I mean, I don't want to believe it either, but I found something that proves it beyond the shadow of a doubt. Gonna get more depressing.
Let's test Makoto's assertion. If what he says is correct, then Mondo, you broke your own handbook.
In other words, if Mondo's handbook is actually broken, then that proves that what Makoto said is right.
Well, my goddamn handbook works just fine.
Does it?
See? Look! Makoto was wrong after all! Mondo wouldn't hurt a fly!
I'm sure Mondo's handbook broke during their sauna showdown. If I can prove that, then it'll show what the handbook Mondo actually... It'll show that the handbook Mondo has must actually be...
Let's test Makoto's assertion. If what he says
Would it
is
be the
correct,
card reader?
then Mondo, you broke your own handbook.
In other words, if Mondo's handbook is
We haven't
actually
used the card
broken,
reader yet.
then that proves that what Makoto said is right.
Well, my goddamn handbook works just fine.
See? Look! Makoto was wrong after all!
Nope. Alright.
Shoot!
Fine. I guess it's the broken one.
Let's test Makoto's assertion.
If what he says you broke your own, in other words, if then that proves that what...
Well, my goddamn handbook
Does
works
it?
just...
No, that's wrong.
Would be a very easy way to verify it, Mondo.
Mondo, the handbook you have right now, is it really yours?
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
The broken handbook that was in the main hall, isn't that one actually yours?
What the heck are you talking about?
What I mean is, I think Mondo swapped his handbook out for one that actually works.
Yep.
I think he took Leon's handbook and replaced it with his own. After all, Monokuma said himself that Leon's handbook never should have broken.
That's right! The punishment it suffered wasn't nearly enough to destroy it.
So then, the broken handbook in the main hall is actually Mondo's, which would mean that the handbook Mondo has right now is actually Leon's, yes?
Yep.
But doesn't that violate the school regulation that says loaning out your handbook is prohibited?
No.
Well, here's how I look at it.
Verbiage.
There is a rule about loaning your handbook to another student, but if they're dead, they're not a student. It's kind of a gray area, I admit. But no worries. If anything, it just makes things more interesting.
Verbiage is very important in regards to how Monokuma carries things out.
As such, I decree that exchanging handbooks with a corpse is not a violation of the rules.
Well, Mondo, if I'm wrong about this, you're welcome to say so. I'm happy to admit I made a mistake, but...
Son of a bitch.
Are you gonna have a meltdown now?
What's wrong, bro? Come on, tell him he's wrong. You are wrong. You have to be wrong. Everything you just said is wrong. You made it all up.
Oh, right. Mondo's not the one who has the meltdown.
Then why don't we look back on this case one more time, from the beginning? That way, everything will become clear, and we'll all see if I was right or wrong.
Closing statement. Sleeve. And in. We have a picture of Chihiro meeting up with somebody. I guess that one. Chihiro meeting up with friend. Dumbbell. Splat. Bloody dumbbell. Or not. Maybe that. Roll up carpet. I think that would be when the girls is. That's Byakuya being a creep. Guess that's when we move posters. I think. Yep, things get moved around, then Byakuya comes in with his freaking extension cord. Does weird crap. Writes bloodlust on the wall, because he's a freaking weirdo. What? I didn't mean to grab that one. I meant to grab that one. And then... throws it in the sauna. Oh wait, I need the... there. Let's try that.
Exactly what happened. First, let's take a look back to before the incident. Last night, Celeste saw Chihiro in the warehouse, correct?
Yep.
At the time, she was apparently stuffing something into a duffel bag.
Poke.
That something was a blue tracksuit. You can confirm this, right, Celeste?
Run away!
With bag in hand, Chihiro headed out, even though it was officially nighttime. She made her way to the locker room, specifically the boys' locker room. But how could the victim, who was apparently a girl, access the boys' locker room?
Beep.
Simple, because she was really a he, which is why he was able to use his own e-handbook to gain entrance to the boys' locker room.
Yo!
Once inside, he met with someone there. And the person he met was the one who killed him.
Yeah, dumbbell.
It seems likely that the killer grabbed the nearby dumbbell, approached the unsuspecting Chihiro,
bang,
and attacked him.
Blood splatter.
And that's where the bloodstains on the poster and carpeting in the boys' locker room came from.
Thud.
It was likely in the heat of the moment. The body was arranged, but the murder itself felt unplanned.
Yeah. Roly.
Which is why the killer hurried to try and hide the act. First, pulling up the bloodstained carpet, then removing the bloody poster.
No? Nope. Okay, it's not the doorknob. What do you mean? Okay, fine, I think I get it. Is that better?
Exactly what happened. Which is then...
Thank you.
And finally carrying the corpse into the girls' locker room. A girl's handbook was necessary to get into the locker room, of course, but this alone doesn't prove that the killer was necessarily a girl.
Beep.
After all, Sayaka and Junko's handbooks had been placed in the main hall. Using one of those, a boy could get into the girls' locker room without much problem. And that's exactly how the killer did it.
Annoying.
With the carpet and the poster they brought with them, they got to work.
They moved everything around.
They changed the layout of the boys' and girls' locker room in what you might call a crime scene switch.
Then Byakuya showed up.
That could have been the end of things, but no. Byakuya discovered the body and decided to intervene in the situation, making things even more complicated.
Dun dun dun.
So, after stumbling on the crime scene, he went and grabbed the extension cord from the library, and then he got to work. He used the cord to string up Chihiro's lifeless body. Then, using the victim's own blood, he left a grisly message there at the scene of the crime. He wanted to create the illusion that Genocide Jack was responsible for the slaughter.
He sure did.
And around the same time that Byakuya was putting together this facade, the killer, having already disposed of Chihiro's bag and other belongings, arrived at the sauna. There, they planned to destroy the last piece of evidence, Chihiro's handbook.
Chuck.
And just as the killer expected, the steamy sauna was enough to ruin the electronic gadget. Somehow, the killer knew that the handbook couldn't stand up to the heat of the sauna. And the reason they knew that is because the sauna had already wrecked their own handbook. And that's how it all played out. Isn't that right, Mondo Arata?
Wait! No! This can't be right! Where's your evidence? Yeah! Where's your evidence?
Oh, Taka.
You need evidence! You need proof! Without any proof, you can't pin any of this on him!
Evidence that Mondo is the killer? That already revealed itself earlier in the trial. If I can somehow show where Mondo's handbook is right now, once I do that, everything will become clear. New element has been added to bullet time battles! Yay. Would you like to hear more? Sure. Talk a bit about fever time and nega time. During the bullet time battle, if you press the space key, fever time will activate and the tempo will be forced to its max. At this point, even if you push the buttons at random, you won't miss. So if you use right mouse pad, left mouse pad, blah blah blah, bumpers, buttons. However, you want to destroy the opponent's verbal assault. Dots. But this only lasts until your focus gauge runs out, so make sure to make the best possible use of your time. Of course, it wouldn't be fair if only you got special access to special time, right? So, we've also prepared something called Nega Time that your opponent can use. If the opponent activates Nega Time during the bullet time battle, your tempo marker will disappear, making it quite tougher to hit the buttons in rhythm. If you were to activate Fever Time at this point, no, never mind, I'm sure nothing would happen. I don't know what I'm worried about. Unsurprisingly, if your action difficulty is set to gentle, the opponent won't use Nega Time. Well then, good luck and have fun. Yep, Taka's the one who has the meltdown.
Show me some evidence! You're wrong! I won't listen! I refute you! False! Show me some evidence!
Oh, Taka.
I won't listen! False! I refuse to vote! Show me some evidence! You're wrong! I won't listen! I refute you! False!
I don't want to have to do this to you either, Taco. Oh, cool. Nobody believes me. Uh-oh. It would appear, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know.
Is...
Let me just... Yes.
I refuse to give up!
Yeah, I screwed up a lot in this. Got it. I hate bullet time battles.
Show me some evidence! You're wrong! I won't listen! I refute you! False! Show me some evidence! I won't listen! False! I refuse to vote! Show me some evidence! You're wrong! I won't listen! I refute you! False! Show me some evidence!
Final strike. Broken knee handbook.
This should prove it.
I don't want to have to do this to you either, Taco.
If my thinking so far is right, Mondo must have replaced his broken handbook with Leon's. In which case, we can just check each of our handbooks right now. Once we do that, we'll...
We don't gotta do that.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I did it. I killed him.
And now we get to hear all of the depressing details. I did a terrible job. Still got an A somehow. You hated one Monokuma coins.
Bro, what are you saying?
I got no choice, man. After hearing all that, I gotta just... give up. Go ahead, Monokuma. Get it over with. Ask for the goddamn verdict.
Roger that!
Wait! Hold on!
No waiting! No holding on! Time for the moment we've all been waiting for! Grab your lever and give it a yank!
Yay!
Who will you elect as the Blackened this time around? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
This case literally really does just like make me sad. It's so freaking sad, man.
What?
Uh-oh, this time it looks like you got it right again. Yes, it is so. The Blackened that killed Chihiro Fujisaki was Mondo Owada.
Dots.
Unbelievable.
In case you're wondering, the vote was not unanimous. Kiyotaka chose the wrong answer. You're treading very close to the danger zone, Mr. Ishimaru. You need to be more careful.
I refuse to believe it. There's no way. No way he would kill someone.
Sorry.
What is this?
Why are you apologizing? Lots of why. Why? Why did you do it? Dots.
Now then.
Well, it looks like Mondo's taking a vow of silence, so allow me to explain on his behalf.
Actually...
The story of the murder this time is the sad story of two men. Oh, but for anyone who doesn't want to hear it, you can hit the control key to fast forward through the text. Yeah, I'm not going to do that, so... Anyway, there was once a young boy. His name was Chihiro Fujisaki. He had an extreme inferiority complex regarding his own lack of strength. You're so weak even though you're a boy. He'd heard the thing like that as long as he could remember, and he couldn't overcome his weakness. On the contrary, he tried to hide and bury himself further and further into that weakness. to take on the fragile form of a petite young girl. He had chosen that as his way out. Now nobody will ever be able to say anything about even though you're a boy. But no matter how tightly he wrapped himself up in that shell, the inferiority complex had already taken root deep inside him, and that was not so easily weeded out. As it turned out, the shell was completely empty. The complex didn't disappear. Instead, it grew stronger and stronger.
I'm weak.
Weak, 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 weak.
Oh, dogs.
Once the killing game had begun here at the school, he had no choice but to accept this fact. After all, this world is survival of the fittest. If you're not strong, you don't survive.
Ta-da!
And then the lovely and hateful Monokuma announced revealing the embarrassing secrets, which of course included Chihiro's embarrassing secret, which I was more than willing to divulge.
Even though he dresses like a girl, Chihiro is actually a boy.
And that was something Chihiro couldn't let anyone find out, no matter the cost. If that was revealed, it would all be the end. The hardened shell would crack. The armor would fall away. Without a doubt, those around him would torture him more than ever before. Everyone figured being thrust into such a dilemma must have sent him spiraling into despair.
That's the first despair we've had in a while.
And yet...
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I don't really want to talk about it right now.
But
I also don't want to leave things the way they are. So maybe I can talk about it later. After I try my best to become strong, then I can tell everyone.
Unknowingly, he used the threat of discovery to motivate himself to become stronger.
That's right.
Now's my chance.
I want to change.
I'm going to become stronger and accept who I am. Strong enough so that when someone says, even though you're a boy, I'll be okay. I'll get better. And with that thought at the front of his mind, he resolved to take immediate action. And so...
that day, he made a commitment to begin exercising. He was prepared to retrain his body and mind. But sadly, that would be the first and only chance he would get at it.
Hey,
When he decided to start exercising, he thought it would be good to ask for someone's help. But he wanted to tell that person his secret first, and then ask them to help him from there. And the person he went to...
Yeah, that's right.
It was me.
Yep, it sure was. The biker gang fella had painfully clear how important his manly promises were. So Chihiro probably figured that even if he confided in Mondo, his honor would make him keep the secret.
Dots.
And plus, Mr. Macho Mondo was the very symbol of a strong man that Chihiro had always aspired to.
Maybe talking to Mondo about it will help give me some courage. I think this is supposed to be Monokuma and not Chihiro.
So he went and asked Mondo to help him become strong. That was his aspiration, and he thought that only with Mondo's support would he ever be able to come close to that.
Correct.
So then, that must be why Mondo did what he did, to keep the promise he'd made to Chihiro. Huh? Did what he did? You mean that's why Mondo carried Chihiro to from the boys' locker room into the girls' locker room?
Indeed.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Wasn't that to cover up what he'd done?
No.
Certainly.
That could have been part of it, but I don't think that was the main reason. The real purpose was to keep the promise between men he had made to Chihiro.
But how does moving the body keep his secret?
Are you stupid? I mean, I know the answer is yes, but come on. Because if everyone knew he had been killed in the boys' locker room, then everyone would have been arguing about how she got into the boys' locker room, right? Once that started up, at least a few of us would have immediately begun to suspect his identity. So, he tried to protect Chihiro's secret by putting him in the girls' locker room and stealing his handbook. See? Then Mondo did all that to keep a promise he made to Chihiro, who he'd also killed? Dots. Why would he do that? The more I hear you talk, the more I don't understand. I mean, you guys trusted each other, right? So why? Why did you... Dots. Because, no matter what, I didn't want anyone to know.
I knew it.
So that's what triggered it after all. The possibility of having your embarrassing memories and secrets exposed.
What is this?
That's impossible! Nothing could have been that bad! Toko's literal secret is that she is a serial killer. So yes. Something you didn't want anyone to know, even if it meant killing someone.
You're wrong.
That's impossible!
Don't make me repeat myself.
How many times must I repeat myself? To judge others by your standard is the height of folly. Even if you can't comprehend it, he obviously can. That's all there is to it.
Well, while we're on the subject, why don't I tell you? That embarrassing memory, that secret he didn't want anyone to know?
Hey,
You know what Mondo did? He killed his own brother.
Not exactly.
Mondo, the ultimate biker gang leader, makes the hoodlums and riffraff across the country tremble. But the only reason he had that chance to join a gang in the first place was because of a certain someone.
Of course Daya has a freaking pompadour too. You JoJo's Josuke looking dude.
Mondo's older brother's name was Daya Owada. Mondo had nothing but respect for him. It was because Daya that Mondo even got on a motorcycle.
Vroom vroom.
Mondo's brother was his only family growing up. He was the only one Mondo could trust or respect. He wanted to measure up to his big brother, so he imitated him in everything he did. Mondo was the epitome of a starry-eyed kid brother. Meanwhile...
Yeah, dog noises.
Meanwhile, the charismatic older brother had put together a local motorcycle gang. And before anyone knew it, it had grown into the biggest biker gang in the country. Daya, the older brother, number one in the gang. And his number two, his younger brother, Mondo. In the beginning, everything was peaches and gravy.
What kind of saying is that?
But when Mondo started to think about how he would have to take over the gang from his brother someday, his brother's greatness, his reputation, began to gnaw on Mondo's very soul.
The kid's gonna take over for Daya, huh? Daya created the gang with his bare hands. Mondo's just along for the ride. Can someone like that really be our leader? All that'll do is make the gang look bad.
Almost every day, Mondo heard the gossip and whispers of the other members of the gang. Which is why...
I
gotta get stronger. Stronger than Daya. Once, just one time. No matter what, I gotta win.
Don't fuck with me.
I don't care what it takes, I gotta come out on top.
And on the night of his amazing brother's retirement ceremony, Mondo challenged him to a street race.
Oh, Suzu.
During the race, tragedy struck. The kid brother pushed ahead with reckless abandon, eager for victory, and dashed into oncoming traffic. But suddenly... Laying in his kid brother's arms, the older brother delivered his final words.
My bad, kid. I screwed up. Sorry.
course he knew it was his brother's fault, but Daya never blamed him for what happened.
Hey kid, the rest is up to you. No matter what, you gotta keep the gang together. 'Cause it's the team you and I put together. It's a promise between men.
He decided to hide the truth from what happened from everyone else in the gang in order to keep the gang together and keep the promise to his brother. He could never admit to anyone that his own weakness is what caused the accident. And as a result, the team was made even stronger under the banner of the kid who'd bested his big brother. Daya was gonna lose to his kid brother so he got stupid and got himself killed. That became the explanation for what happened. Mondo's lie became the truth. He wanted to lead the gang so bad, he was willing to tell all kinds of lies about his brother.
I'm strong. Lots of strong.
And yet, as soon as our killing game began, he realized, no matter how tough he pretended to be, he was just another weakling that could die in an instant. And then the hateful Monokuma announced revealing of embarrassing secrets. At that point, it was clear I would have no problem shedding light on his secret.
Mondo killed his own older brother. I would say more Mondo suffers from survivor's guilt because, yeah, he was stupid, but Daya didn't have to go dive in and save him. But I still understand why Mondo feels that he killed Daya. No matter what, I couldn't let the other gang members find out. If that happened, everything would have been ruined. Everything me and my brother had worked hard to create would have been destroyed. His death, all the guilt I'd been carrying around, it all would have been for nothing. So that's why... That's why... Mondo... After what I saw Monokuma had on me, my head filled up with all kind of fuzzy uneasiness and just started swirling around. I'd never felt anything like it before. I didn't know what to do about it. I wasn't sure what to think or say. But after a while, that fuzzy uneasiness turned into a rock-hard lump of anxiety all the way down to my stomach. It was right around then that Chihiro asked me to start working out with him. And right there, he told me a secret. Seriously? Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry I lied to you.
But why? Why now? Why are you telling me this all of a sudden?
Huh?
'Cause I mean, you kept that a secret all this time, right? If anyone found out, you would...
But...
You're right, but...
I want to change.
I wrapped myself in lies. I'm weak. I want to destroy that version of me forever.
His words were like a knife in my gut. Felt like he was exposing the lie I'd been living myself.
I have to change. I don't want to be weak anymore. You're so strong. It can't hurt you, right? Whatever secret Monokuma might tell us.
Dots.
You piece of...
So what? You're saying I should just say it?
What?
You're saying if I really am, I should just be able to tell everyone my secret?
Huh?
I was jealous. I was jealous of Chihiro's strength. He had the strength to face his own weakness, to try and overcome it. It was the kind of strength I had never had. So I was jealous of him. And that jealousy broke me.
What?
Are you making fun of me? I'm strong. Are you messing with me right now?
No, I'm not making fun of you. You really are strong, Mondo.
Felt like I could hear something starting to creak. something inside my head. What did he want me to do? What was I supposed to do? What was I supposed to just sit back and let my secret get revealed and ruin everything?
What's wrong?
Damn you!
Why did you have to tell me all that? Are you trying to rub my failure in my face?
I just wanted to... I really admire you. I admire your strength.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right, I am strong. I'm strong. Lots of strongs. Stronger than you!
You son of a bitch!
And stronger than Dahlia! I don't remember anything after that. When I woke up again, he was laying at my feet, covered in blood. I had the dumbbell in my hand, and I was staring at him down on the ground. Hey! Dots.
I killed him. I killed Chihiro. Even after all this time, I'm still just as weak as I've always been. And thanks to that, I did something I can never take back.
Mondo. He was normally so aggressive, so angry. He had that weak side away from everyone. That was his secret. A weakness that lived in the heart like his, and turned him cold-blooded. God damn it. Oh, Monokuma.
Look at him, you see? You're all just like him. For a secret from the past, for a memory, for that he killed another living human in cold blood.
I wouldn't say in cold blood, it was more of just, as you alluded to, Monokuma, a crime of passion. It was a, as you put it, oops, I killed him.
He couldn't cut free from his regrets from the outside world. He doesn't know what true strength is. Do you see any hope anywhere in there? 'Cause I sure don't.
You bastard! Just shut up! Go ahead! Say it again, I dare you!
Yep. Okay, I'll say it as many times as I want. Is what I want to say, but... unfortunately, I can't do that right now, because the time for punishing is fast approaching.
Punishing?
It can't be.
You mean execution?
Well now.
That's what I promised you, right? The black end that disturbs the peace will be punished.
Ridiculous.
Hold on!
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment.
For Mondo Awada, the ultimate biker gang leader.
No! Wait!
Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
I said wait!
Sorry, man. I couldn't keep the promise we made. From one man to another.
Ooh, the cage of death. Oh, the probably weirdest execution. I believe that... yeah, it is a reference to a story called The Story of Little Black Sambo. The story tells of a poor Indian boy who defeated 4 tigers by tricking them into running around a tree so fast that they turned into butter, which he and his family then used to make pancakes. So that's why Mondo turned into butter.
Laugh at death and your soul will forever be at peace.
It can't be my brother. Another murder and another execution. I want to feel again. Everyone's lives are taken so lightly here. I feel like I might be going mad. Maybe I'll just let it happen. Oh, Taka. As Taka's sad screams invaded our skulls, we were each forced to realize once again. But he, of course, had to... What a disappointment. This is the end of the game. Byakuya.
You're completely insane, you know that? A game? One of our friends is dead, you realize that?
Naturally.
Of course I do, but this game is life or death.
Hey.
I don't have anything to say to you. I don't have a response except that. I just don't understand why. Why did you go out of your way to disguise Mondo's crime?
What?
Why? Isn't it obvious? Because it made things more interesting. His voice was calm, emotionless, like the voice of death. It chilled me to my bone. Last night, when the murder took place, I was in the library as usual.
Honestly.
So you ignored the nighttime rule too? That rule never mattered to me. I don't recall agreeing to it.
There is nothing to be done.
Well, I don't particularly care. Please continue. The night grew late. I decided to return to my room, which is when I stumbled upon him. I spotted Mondo coming out of the girls' locker room. After he was gone, I looked inside and saw the corpse. What? You mean you witnessed the murder? No? Just the aftermath of getting moved around. He was such a fool. He didn't have the slightest idea I'd seen him.
Well, so you're saying you knew who the culprit was from the very beginning?
That's right.
Indeed. But if that had been the end of it, how boring would that have been? I mean, what a waste of time to have the answer revealed right at the beginning. Which is why I decided to lend a little helping hand. I thought it would liven things up. You did all that to liven things up?
I see.
So after hearing about Genocide Jack from Toko, you decided to use that to create a fake murder scene. But damn, man. If we hadn't figured out who had really done it, you would have been dead too, right? Well, obviously I would have revealed the truth before it reached that point. Of course. Byakuya turned and looked me in the eye. I could feel his sharp eyes piercing into me. Thanks to a certain remarkable someone it never did, I was able to perform an interesting experiment.
Interesting.
Once I do decide to become blackened, I now know who I'll have to watch out for. Just kill Makoto, that'd be fine. What?
Correct.
So that was your reason. Are you satisfied?
Indeed.
Yes, we're done listening to your story. Moving on. There's something I would like to ask Monokuma.
What's this?
Oh, I'm up next?
You like to perform these elaborate executions each time, correct? My question is, why?
Do you like them? But you know, this punishment, this despair, it's not just for you. All this punishment, all this despair is my gift to mankind itself.
What?
You're over-exaggerating.
I am not over-exaggerating. These punishments are meant to transform all hope into despair.
All the despairs are coming.
Damn.
What do you mean? 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 Mean?
What the heck?
Lots of means.
Good grief! Yada yada. I don't understand why you have to pick apart every little stupid thing.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. In the end, I'm going to stand alone as the victor, and then everything will be revealed to me.
Ah, the noble son of a noble family. Truly, you understand me. I think this is the start of a terrifying friendship.
That's enough.
Shut up. I would never stoop to the level of a childish criminal like you. Let me say this. After I have achieved complete victory, you're up next. I'm going to find you and kill you. Understand?
In the name of my family.
In the name of the Togami family, for which victory is a foregone conclusion.
You're getting all wrong.
Oh, so cool. It's like you're the main character of a video game or something. No trash mob for you.
I swear whatever it takes, I will kill you.
Temper, temper. Sounds like someone needs a nap.
Monokuma giggling. Are you leaving? Oh, surprisingly not. Monokuma's laughter pealed across the courtroom, and a curtain closed on the case of Chihiro and Mondo. But I knew that wasn't the end. The killing game would still continue, because the mastermind wouldn't let it end. For those who were still alive, our worst fear and despair kept multiplying. And it was the kind of despair that felt like a blind puppy in hell had more of a future than us. Can you see why there's a despair counter? It's gonna keep going. Just because we got a break from it doesn't mean anything. All our courage, our effort, our friendship, it all felt like it amounted to nothing at all. It was the worst kind of despair. Such a bullshit. Oh, hey.
Well, anyway, like I was saying, this is a pretty good spot. Yeah, a really good spot. Anyway, isn't it amazing how that girl went and killed someone before things even had a chance to get boring?
Who are we talking about?
Once things really get moving, it'll be like a roller coaster. There won't be any stopping it. Fear and despair charge forward at a speed nothing can hope to match. But I must admit, I'm disappointed. I went to all the pain and effort of making you part of the group, and you couldn't play your part. You do remember you were supposed to make the first move, right? Well, no biggie. Nothing we can do about it now. So just do your best to make things more exciting from now on, okay?
Woo.
After all, that's what everyone wants to see.
Dots? There's one thing I'd like to ask you.
As long as you don't want to know my measurements, fire away.
Who is it? The 16th high school student, I mean.
Ooh, my. You really took me by surprise there. I know I said you could ask anything, but super denied, ultra denied, demonic denied. Because you see, that's my ace in the hole. And nobody'd be dumb enough to reveal that, right? No matter how close they were to their friends.
Dots. Chapter 2, Boy's Life in Despair. The end. We're down 2 more people. To be continued. Woo! We received Crazy Diamond present. We received Mondo's jacket. Yay. Save? Yes. I think we're gonna stop here because, God, that trial genuinely makes me depressed. It legit does. It's so freaking sad. So yeah, I'm leaving now. Like, subscribe, and all the noise. I'll see you in the next one, folks. Later.
Boop, boop, boop.